Welcome to Ready Set RC, and today we are doing the final thoughts review for the Traxxas Maxx. This is a 1/10 scale-ish monster truck by Traxxas. It's probably on the larger side when it comes to the 1/10 scale monster trucks. But at this point, for you guys who are new to the channel, at this point we have done an unboxing, a comparisons video, a upgrade with the x-maxx kit installed, the first rip on 3S, a 4S run where we're just hitting it off the ramp, and then the final run on 4S, just ripping this truck and hitting it off of the T-Bone racing ramp. So if you're new to the channel, go back to the playlist. You'll see everything that we have done to this truck up until this point, installation of parts, everything that's been done, and how this truck has performed up until this point. And then come back and watch the review video, because in this video, I won't be talking about those items that I've already discussed in those previous videos. Plus, I won't be showing multiple angles of the truck that I've done in previous videos as well. But for you guys who have been following along, this is the final thoughts video. This is the video that we'll be discussing the electronics, which will cover the controller and receiver, the ESC and motor, and the servo. We'll be discussing the drivetrain, which covers the front drive shafts, the rear drive shafts, the center drive shaft, front differential, that cush drive in the center, and the rear differential. We'll talk about handling and suspension when we're talking about the shocks, the tires, the arms, everything else in regards to the suspension of the vehicle. We'll touch on durability of how this has performed for us up until this point, workability in doing all the work we've done. And the good thing about this one, since we went ahead and put in the x-maxx kit and the drive shafts in here, we've done a considerable amount of work where we can really touch on workability of this vehicle. Support, overall, we all know how Traxxas support is, and we can touch on that a little bit in this video. And then the opinionated parts of the discussion, which is it worth it? Would I buy it again? Electronics. This is the TQI controller. This is the one that comes with the Traxxas Maxx. I mean, this is a tried and true controller. Yes, it is an older controller. I do not have the Traxxas Link installed. Didn't need it, but I mean, if you want to go over the extra mile, go ahead and install that Traxxas Link. It's a Bluetooth link that gives you all the telemetry for the vehicle too. But it has your basic settings on this controller to do your first operations audit. Comes with the phone wheel. I mean, for you guys who are familiar with Traxxas, it's the same TQI controller. Nothing has changed. It's a tried and true, ready to run controller. If you're looking for a controller to just jump out and start bashing, it will definitely do that for you. In regards to the receiver on this car, I had no issues with the receiver. This thing did not cut out. This thing did not run into any issues. I had no issues when it came to distance with this truck. Performed well. The only thing that I will say is that maybe the action between the two is a little bit delayed. For the most part, for RTR, it did its job. As for the ESC and the motor, I know a lot of guys want to go ahead and throw 8S in this truck and blast it down the street. For me, I'm not, you guys know who follow me on this channel, I'm not a speed junkie. This was good for me. I actually enjoyed it. So for me, the ESC and the motor performed well. I don't think I'm going to be changing out the electronics anytime soon on this. And that leads us into the servo. Yes, the servo is a little slow.
Surprise.
But you know what? For this truck, if you're not upgrading the ESC and the motor, I think you're good with the servo. If you're going to keep the manufacturer speeds on this, you don't really need to upgrade the servo at all either. I mean, that's the only thing that I noticed. And if I was going to, that's probably the only item I would upgrade on this. I am a servo snob.
Really?
I would have normally replaced the servo immediately on this. But the way this performed, is it the fastest servo? No, but I don't think I need it for this truck. The one truck I've actually driven that I don't think I need a killer fast servo to perform the way I needed it to, and that's shocking. So I'm gonna say, for me, the servo is slow, but I think it's just enough for this truck in this current format. Now, if you're gonna go there and throw 8S in this truck, yeah, you're gonna have to upgrade that servo. The servo is gonna be the big Achilles heel of everything if you're gonna do that. But if you're gonna keep it stock, not change out the ESC and motor on this, stock servo is more than enough for you. Drivetrain. So if you guys have been following along in the playlist and the series, I've swapped out the drive shafts on this. Now I'm running metal drive shafts in this truck. I never ran the telescopic drive shafts on this, never did. Never installed the ones that come with the x-maxx kit. I went ahead and automatically, I was doing the work, I automatically just went ahead and just did the metal drive shafts in this truck. And they perform well, guys. They've not broken on me. No issues in regards to the drive shafts, front or rear. Nothing in regards to the center drive shaft on this. As I said, I'm keeping it stock. I don't have a tremendous amount of power going in this where I don't think it'll be able to handle it. So it's been doing well. It's been doing very well for me. I haven't had no issues in regards to the cush drive, but once again, that goes back to I'm running it stock. I'm not changing anything out on this. So it's been doing well. In regards to the diffs haven't blown. I've been doing I've been doing everything on this truck. So I haven't had an issue with the diff front or the rear, even the cush drive, nothing at all, no issues whatsoever. So that takes us to handling and suspension. I'm gonna touch on this briefly and then I'm gonna move on. So in regards to the handling of this truck, as I stated before, I immediately upgraded this to the x-maxx. I never drove this in the narrow form. So I can't speak on how well this thing handles on turns and everything else and jumps prior to putting the x-maxx kit on it. Is the turn radius the greatest? No, it's not. And a lot of that does equate to widening the truck. The turn radius is going to sacrifice. But would I sacrifice the turn radius to be able to land this truck and it not constantly roll over, to be able to turn this truck on throttle and not have it roll over? Yes. And that is why I say the x-maxx kit, if you want to enjoy the Maxx, regardless, I mean, it's one of those things you're going to have to eat the charge. Because you got, as they say, you got to pay to play. And if you want to play with this and you want to really enjoy it, you got to put the x-maxx kit on. And the x-maxx kit definitely takes the fun factor all the way up, guys. Now you're going to see a truck that is a lot more stable. Does it stop the rollovers? No. You still get rollovers. You're still going to have to do throttle management. But you will not get them as much as I've seen on videos. So I've seen videos where they have the narrow setup on the truck and the truck is rolling over. Yes. That's one thing. But once you put the x-maxx kit on here and you see how this truck performs with the x-maxx kit, you will be smiling for days. It performs well. It is worth the money. Worth the money. Especially if you're already sinking the money into the Maxx, spend the money and get the x-maxx kit. You will love it. Now, in regards to how the vehicle lands, now it's time to start tuning. You need to tune the springs, you need to tune the shocks in regards to your shock oil viscosity in there. And that way the truck is going to land better for you. That is what I did. I went ahead, I tuned my springs. I did not change my shock oil out, but I tuned my springs, I tuned my tension on my springs, and I think this thing lands perfectly for me. If you check out the videos that I've done on this truck, on how I've been landing, it just soaks them up. Occasionally does the back pop up a little bit? Yes. But for the most part, it lands nicely, guys. I really do enjoy how this truck bashes. That's the caveat with the handling and suspension, is that you gotta spend the money to get better suspensions on this truck. Durability. I've only broken one part on this truck, and that was the caster block. Very cold day, awkward landing, first time driving it on 4S, and it landed weird on the wheel and the caster block broke. Now this is gonna lead me right into support, because the one thing great about Traxxas is part support is by far the best you are going to run into. And with this truck, I literally, for you guys who live on Long Island, I drove from Eisenhower Park to Willis Hobbies, didn't even call them, had the caster block, picked it up, drove it home, was able to take this out in the backyard and bash this truck again. Let me repeat. Went to the park, bashed it, broke it, went to the hobby shop, picked up the part, drove home, was able to get this back and running again. Literally, it may have taken me 5-10 minutes to install the part. The longest part was the drive home. So that's to tell you how easy and quick in regards to part support for this truck. Now, touching on workability, I've done all the work on this truck in regards to the suspension. I've done the axles, I've done everything else on this truck. And all of it was done without reading the directions, guys. I didn't read the directions once. I just went ahead, started throwing parts on, and that's how easy this truck is to work on. The parts just, the front is modular, it just pops off, the rear pops off. It was just so easy to work on. One of the easier trucks to ever disassemble and reassemble. So I had no issues with this. So workability on this truck, by far one of the best out there. Now, is it worth it? And this is the part where I'm gonna cringe a little bit. Because first and foremost, when this truck first came out, it was going for $530. I probably should have bought it then, but I held off. I had something else I wanted to buy. I bought that instead. And $530 is what it was going for. When I bought this truck, it's now going for $550, I think it is. $550. So I ate $20 on it. Then the wide max kit. And I will admit, what held me off in buying this truck in the first time was the wide max was not installed. It needed to be there. They knew this truck was rollover prone, and they knew the wide max is what would put the fun factor up. I wanted to get the truck. I was waiting for Traxxas to release the truck with the wide max and everything on there. I didn't want to go through the price and the work to do it. They should come that way from the manufacturer. Well, here we are. The timing of this video, it does not come with that way. But I ended up throwing the money into it. Time I'm done, this truck is somewhere in the ballpark now, maybe pushing around 7. That's a lot for a 1/10 scale, largish monster truck. And that's where I would say that for price, is it worth it? Probably not. But the fun factor is so much on this truck, it's hard to pass it up. But that price is just so hard to stomach. You know, you're talking about a truck this size and you start getting up to that price tag. That's a lot, guys. That's a lot. And then I would say, would I buy it again? For me, and where I am in the hobby and the cars and trucks that I currently own, yes, I would buy this again because of how much fun I'm getting out of this. But if this was like my sole truck, I don't know if I want to dump that much in on my first truck. I don't know if I want to dump that much I don't know if I want to dump that much money in, and I only have 4 trucks. Me, I got a ton of trucks, guys. You can see it on my channel. I still own almost every truck you see there. So for me, it doesn't matter if I get a max. But if I only had 4 trucks or less, I don't know. At this price point, I think there's a lot of options out there. You know, what really kicked me and stopping me from buying this truck, and I tell this to everybody because I'm open when it comes to it, I paid $530 for my X-Maxx. It was used, yes, from my local hobby shop, but in great shape. $530. And then I saw this for $530. You tell me why you would buy a Max if you just bought an X-Maxx like a month before that for $530. 8S, not 6S, 8S Traxxas X-Maxx for $530. Yeah, that's why. But I don't know. I think that's going to be the dilemma. I'm going to leave this in the comments. I'm going to let you guys debate this in the comments into, you know, would you buy this again? For me, that's the reasons why I would. The fun factor is up there. Price is outrageous for this. but the fun factor is up there. But I'm gonna let you guys debate it, and we're gonna leave it here. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Check us out on Instagram for our latest posts to the channel. This is Ready Set RC, signing out. Thanks again, guys.